you have that same opportunity to sit on your driveway, take an idea that you thought was good, work your tail off, and have success from it. That, in a nutshell, is why I'm running for Congress. Now, when I get to Congress, here's what I'm for and here's what I'm going to stand for. I want to see a reduced size federal government and an overall makeover, as I called it earlier, of our federal entitlement programs. 61% of that federal budget is made up of entitlement programs, of which 44% is Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid. We simply cannot continue to spend at the same clip that we're spending now and expect the same results. We can't expect to continue to fund programs at the same rate that we're funding now and have any type of economic future going on into that future. Next, I think it's incredibly important that we work very, very hard to secure our individual liberties. Whether we're seeing encroachment that's coming in over internet security, internet piracy legislation, we're seeing it over and over again. We've got an IRS that's out of control, that is looking to be able to get involved in the personal affairs of ourselves and our businesses. We simply can't sustain that. We as individuals can't sustain that. And as your congressman, I will go to Washington and fight incredibly hard to get Washington from stop looking at us and off our backs. And lastly, veterans hold a very special place in my heart. And many of you all that may have worked or volunteered or perhaps interned at a congressional office before, you know that veteran services is a big part of the work that each and every one of our congressmen do. Especially in this district, veterans are incredibly important when you consider Dobbins Air Force Base, and it's also the home of the Georgia National Guard. Between now and the end of 2016, across the state of Georgia, we'll have between 60 and 65,000 returning veterans coming back into our state. They're coming back to Georgia because this is in many cases where they got deployed from. So it's incredibly important that we do everything that we can from a public policy standpoint, both at the state and federal level, to make sure that those guys and gals who went over there and fought for us, that when they come home, they've got the means to be able to go back to work and get back into that workforce. Last legislative session here in the state, I was the driver behind a piece of legislation called House Bill 188. It was veterans licensure overhaul legislation that was designed to be able to streamline returning veterans and get them back in the workforce faster. Right now, when they come back into Georgia, they might have training, a certificate, or a diploma that's awarded to them from one of our branches of the military. They have to get at the back of the line to wait for an independent license so that they can go back into that workforce. Be an independent electrical contractor, be a plumber, do HVAC work. When they've got the training and they've got the skills, and we've got those companies over here that have those jobs available, there's no reason why that they should be moved to the front of the line. So they don't exhaust their VA benefits, they don't exhaust their unemployment insurance benefits, and they're able to provide for their families. It is ultimately the least that we can do to thank them for everything that they've done for us. I'm running as a business-minded candidate to take that same spirit, that same attitude, and that same common sense approach to Washington. This is the first time that I've ever run for Congress. I've run for party office before. And for those of y'all that are in the room that helped me when I did that adventure a couple years back, that was a 5-month campaign where I drove 18,000 miles over the state of Georgia. I went to 88 of the 159 counties. Did so and put 18,000 miles on a Ford F-150 truck that I took back, took it home, gave the keys to my husband, and he went, "What did you just do?" But we are going to work that hard or harder on this congressional race. 4 counties is a lot easier than 159. But it's my goal to meet every single potential voter in that Republican primary coming up in May 20th. For those of y'all that have already been helping us on the campaign, Whitney and others, thank you all so much for all of your great support. We appreciate all of the events that you help us work. We appreciate the way that you help us spread the word about the campaign, but we need more of you. If elected to Congress, I will be the first Kennesaw State University OWL to serve in Congress. And I could also be the first Republican woman from the state of Georgia. Our campaign's gotten a lot of help. We've gotten help from outside the state, from some of the Republican women that for them, they were the first ones from their state to, as they call it, break the glass ceiling or bust the glass ceiling, whichever. But we've also got a lot of help within the district and across the state. We'd love for you to join our team. We've got some internship opportunities available that I know that Ashley can send you information and details on. But we are really working to make sure that not only can we win this race, but that I can be actively involved in the overall district after we do. I think that there are great things to come within this congressional district. I've worked in economic and workforce development for the state for nearly the last 2 years, and I can tell you this is a great time to be on the west side of Metro Atlanta. We've got education on our side, we've got job growth and real estate on our side. Now, if we could just not sit in traffic so stinking much, that would be good. But we've got a whole lot going for us. And so with that, I want to open up the floor for questions. Is that okay? Okay. And if you guys, if you don't mind, I would love for you to also, I'd like to know your name, and I'd like to know what year you're in and what your major is. But before I go any further, besides just introducing Joe, some of you all know Cindy. She's running for solicitor. And then I also want to point out to my friend Matt Riedemann, he is running for Kennesaw City Council. If you are not registered to vote in this area, please go register to vote. The deadline is October the 7th, and we need great conservatives at all levels of government. The government that is closest to the people is the government that's most powerful and impacts your lives the most. So get involved in your city and county races, and if you've never gotten involved in a campaign before, let me tell y'all something, it's fun. I have worked in statewide races, I have worked in local races. My husband and I went back in 2008 up to Ohio to help try to defeat Barack Obama the first time. I wish we would have worked a little bit harder. We won the 5 counties that we worked in. But if you've never gotten involved in a campaign before, I'll tell you what, you're going to meet fantastic people. You're going to make connections that last you a lifetime, that not only help you professionally with your career, but also you're going to make some great friends doing it too. So with that, is it okay if I open the floor for questions? All right.